Alright, we're back to getting the power, the Nintendo power. This is Gray Fox 37.
And Pikachu 23.
And Pikachu is awake today.
Yes.
And we're going to be doing the issue 3 of Nintendo Power. Basically, this is the Track and Field 2 issue, so not a really dramatic cover, but I'll just say for the late 80s, I do love the way those shoes with no legs in them look running down on the track there, and then in the background you can see like the discus and then, you know, the javelin throw and everything like that. So 16 explosive events tear up the track, Captain Nintendo, video superhero, fiction feature, so it's going to be the Captain N.
So, is that a ghost then?
Right? So Captain N, you know, we're going to talk about one of the best camp cartoons ever made. Then we got more Blaster Master plus a fold-out poster, and then a gigantic holiday giveaway, so that's going to be exciting. So there's the Nintendo Power line yet again. So Track and Field 2, they're going to do that at first. Then we got Mickey Mousecapade, which is a really interesting side-scroller with Mickey and Minnie Mouse there. Another Howard and Nestor comic. Nestor gets into the heart of Simon's quest, so that's cool.
Ooh.
Got Blaster Master, so more Jason and his radioactive frog Fred and the mutant hordes, so you get that.
Hey.
Role-playing game special, so that looks good. Ultima Legacy of the Wizard, which was a heavy influence on one of my favorite indie RPs, Exile. Which I've been playing lately. Counselor's Corner, classified information, Advantage Max, Might and Mastery at your fingertips. Check out the pros' power tools. Anticipation, Blades of Steel, Cobra Command, Racket Pack. Then you got video shorts for Bubble Bobble, Ghostbusters! Yeah, forget that.
Except the game sucks.
Right? And then some other stuff like Spy vs. Spy from Mad TV. Then they're going to talk about Captain Nintendo, which got shortened to Captain N, and your top 30 and all that good stuff. So, cracking it open.
Can't wait to see what funny stuff Nestor does this time.
Right? Yeah. So here we go, Track and Field 2. So they basically talk about, like, it's a game that basically would do things to where you'd prepare yourself for, like, Olympic events. So it had, like, fencing, archery, sharpshooting, the vault, things like that, high dive, stuff like that. So it's a lot of really good summer stuff there, and they've got some pretty good artwork for it. The Olympic mode versus mode, so you could like go against each other. So it's basically a bunch of track and field events that have a lot of Olympic ties to it. They even have like karate matches and stuff, so it's pretty cool there.
I was going to say as a joke, do they have curling?
Curling?
It's so awkward.
But I'm not really into all that stuff there. So we'll just kind of skip through this here. The artwork I do like though. Like, I like that little fencing work there. That position's awkward, but I do like the fencing. And then you got the high dive, freestyle swimming, clay pigeon shooting, which is so much fun. Then you got the hammer throw, pole vault, taekwondo, canoeing, archery. So that's pretty cool. They got like a lot of good stuff.
Archery
hurdles.
is fun.
Yeah,
Hurdles are scary.
Yep.
If you can't see.
Horizontal bar is pretty scary too if you're not athletic enough.
Never tried that one.
Then here's Mickey Mousecapade. So basically, this was a really interesting game because Mickey and Minnie would go through like a bunch of levels and basically take on like famous villains from the movies, Disney movies at the end. And I think like the Dark Queen from Snow White was like the final boss.
Wow.
I rented this a few times from Blockbuster. Ooh, excuse me, but hiccuping right now, but basically you would go through houses, you'd collect like these ninja stars that you would toss at enemies. That's what I called them, were ninja stars. Ooh, excuse me, I've got hiccups. And
you're not excused.
there was like owls in it that would actually like capture Minnie, and you'd have to like rescue her because you couldn't finish the stage unless you both had Mickey and Minnie with you. Then, like, at the end of the stage, you do kind of like this little thing where both of you would stand and there'd be this background. It's like, take a picture, it'll last longer, faggot.
Wow. It actually sounds kind of like a fun little game.
It's not bad. It's not too bad. Yeah, and there it is, the evil queen at the end there. So that's in the big castle. So you go through some places like some forests that have different like seasons. Go through like a coastline. Go through a ship, fun house and stuff, and then get through the Dark Castle at the end and take on the I think that was Maleficent, actually. Yeah, that's who it was.
Oh.
You take on her, she's great, she's hot. But anyway, so now we go on to Howard and Nestor, and
what do they do now?
Nestor's looking at his family, or friends or something. It's like, Ask me anything, I know it all. Okay, Nestor, how do you find the third mansion in Castlevania 2? Bodley Mansion? That's a piece of cake. Creek? I could find that blindfolded, so he's putting on Simon's red armor. Check this out. So then it shows him on the side scroller as he's whipping a skeleton that goes, "Oh no!" And there's another skeleton climbing down the stairs. Well, this is great, Nestor. Is this all there is to it? Sure. Yeah, sure. Try again. So they basically come up to a rock wall at the end there. What now? Go back and ask directions from that skeleton. This has to be it. Hey, and then Howard comes on the screen or on the area. Hey, game. Seems like you could use a hand looking for Bodley Mansion. Nestor got us lost, and I was hoping for something useful, like a map to Mars. First, you need to find the red crystal, and then just like at Yuba Lake, which if you have the blue crystal and you kneel, the lake lowers and shows a staircase. So when you have the red crystal and you kneel at the cliffside, it basically shows a tornado that sends you through, and then it jumps you over to Bodley Mansion. We have everything we need, Carrot Head. I'm sorry, just wanted to warn you. I guess you forgot that you're a real whiz. That's right. I'm number one. And he holds his hand in the air, and all of a sudden this swirl comes around him, whoosh. And basically at that point, the tornado takes him away. If you need help, just ask. I hope Nestor knows that. Bye, Nestor. Great trick.
And at the end, Nestor falls over. Ouch.
Now we're back to Blaster Master, and we're seeing really interesting artwork of Jason there and Sophia. He's got and it looks like Jason's taller than Sophia. That's interesting, but okay. So basically, and I like the interior cockpit though. It kind of reminds me of Macross a bit, so that's pretty cool. Yeah. So basically, you're going into these levels. It's a side scroller where you basically drive through Sophia, which is the tank, and you'll fire at enemies with the cannon and stuff. The tank can do like all sorts of really cool things. Like it can fire missiles, it can shoot lightning strikes down under you, it can hover, it can eventually dive and swim, stuff like that. So it's pretty cool there. And then they have parts where you have to get out of the ship basically to go to different areas, like through some dungeon style crawls where basically show an overhead view, and then you'll be fighting you'll be using your gun to basically take down a whole bunch of monsters and the mutants and stuff, and you can upgrade your weapon. Eventually it forms into this awesome blasting wave beam, which is cool. Blaster Master Zero was a remake of it, and it was a pretty good one too on the Nintendo Switch, and I really do love the top-down guns that they have in it. They're much more powerful and fun to look at. So plus you can switch between weapons, which is something you couldn't do in the original Nintendo.
Nice.
So that was cool. So they're showing some of the bosses there that you take on. There's some maps of the overhead stages to get you through. Then they're showing the areas for stage 2. This is why I love Nintendo Power. During this time, just having, you can do this obviously online with bitmap artwork and stuff like that. So it's good to see that there, but yeah, I just loved it with Nintendo Power, how they would basically print these maps on here, and as a kid you'd just be like, man, how the hell did they get that? How the hell did they do that detail, And that's just something that fascinated you when you were a kid, so... But yeah, so they're showing detailed levels of maps of stage 2, and then they're showing stage 8 beat the master boss. So basically, that's the plutonium boss. That's his real form right there. I can't believe they showed that. In this Blaster Master Zero, they have a stage 9. So. Now on this fold-out poster here, they're showing some holiday gift ideas. So they have the Super Mario lunch kit, which I actually had. It was a Super Mario lunchbox and a thermos with it, which is so cool. They had Nintendo beach towels. I had the Legend of Zelda one. That was really cool.
Nice.
Action figures. I never got those, but I wish I did. The Mega Controller, which is just kind of looks really ridiculous, honestly, and it looks uncomfortable. A Game Pack Center never had those. We just basically stacked them in a corner. Nintendo underwear.
That's funny.
I actually had Transformers underwear myself.
Cool.
Nintendo suspenders, no thanks. Nintendo backpacks.
That would have been kind of cool.
I had a Zelda and that Zelda Mario one that I just hung it on my wall. I never brought it to school or anything, because I went to a school, while I went to a school that was in a nice neighborhood, a lot of kids there were thieves basically, so
yeah.
Then they had a rock and roller, made by LGN.
No.
And it was that thing where you basically stand on top of it, and it was supposed to have you move the control and whatnot. But when you would plug it in, the characters would just like move on their own. I think Angry Video Game Nerd actually reviewed that,
Yeah,
and it was funny watching him stand on it.
Precursor for the Wii Fit and stuff that they made later.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
A lot of the
Except
stuff
it apparently sucks.
I had the Konami scope. I actually had the Konami scope where you would slide it on your head and you'd say fire basically to shoot at them. You could practically say anything and it would shoot sometimes.
That's kind of funny.
But it was really nice. It was really cool to do that. Just kind of like my grandma and grandpa on my dad's side got it for me, and you'd see like this little target system that would show up on the scope, and it would just be kind of like that thing you'd see in Universal Soldier with Jean-Claude Van Damme. It was kind of like one of those, so it was really nifty, and it could actually also hook up to like AM/FM radios. So I thought that was cool. I actually had a Mario radio where basically he was on his knee extending his hand with this like ominous look and stuff. I had that radio.
That must have been funny.
Let's see, Nintendo stickers. I had Nintendo pins. I'll talk about that in a moment. Mario Rain Slicker, which is like a windbreaker. Nintendo shirts. Never had any Nintendo shirts, unfortunately, but I wish I did. Nintendo character sweatshirts. Game pack organizers. You know what? Actually, we did have a game pack organizer container like that. I just remembered. So we did have that. Slumber bag, which is a sleeping bag. Nintendo baseball caps. Remote controller. Control deck carrier, which was like this backpack that you would stick the NES in. So that was pretty cool. Yeah. The anticipation video. Nintendo athletic wear, so they had like tank tops and sweats and jackets and stuff. Cool. Nintendo pajamas, Super Mario bedding. Oh, I always wanted those. Yeah, I did have a cool Transformers tent though. I remember that it had the Dinobots on it.
Nice.
It was basically a bed tent where you would kind of like slip kind of like a sheet cover onto it, and then you would use these like two glow in the dark poles to slide in, and then it would raise the tent up and everything. So I had a single bed Transformers tent. That was so awesome. Love that. So yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. So you got the Blaster Master poster there that's got the Sophia the Third, which just kind of looks like they make it kind of look like a dune buggy, which is pretty cool. No wonder you're taller than it in that. So now here's the role-playing games, RPGs. So they're like, what is an RPG? So they kind of just explain what it is. Collect items, gain experience, gather your strength, and then something or rather or embark on a great adventure. It's yellow against a really gray background, so it's a little hard to read there. This is the challenge of a role-playing game. You assume the role of a character and set off on the ultimate video fantasy. RPGs are not usually high on fast action. Instead, they have tremendous depth for experiencing long-played adventures. They have unique experiences or require patience and perseverance. In two games presented here, there will be villains and friends, merchants and wise old men. Along the way, you must decide who will help you and who will not. As the story unravels, it is you who will make the decisions and solve the mysteries ahead. So it's really cool how they eventually do devote an issue for strategy guide to the first Final Fantasy game. Cool. So we'll get to that, but yeah, it's just really cool. It's just really, really cool how the artwork on this is just amazing. And it just looks so damn good. They got like a dude wearing this really wicked looking helmet, and he's holding up a flail. They've got this one kind of like Alucard looking dude, and there's like a fairy in the background. Then they got this like kind of like gladiator guy on this like fanged white horse, and then there's this other dude riding like a black rock bird, which is it's just so cool. Legacy of the Word Wizard. So they start with Ultima. The fate of the people of Sosaria is in your hands. 4 brave adventurers join forces, and Ultima was very popular for DOS. So that was like basically Ultima is a really decent RP series. It's a little kind of like out of my league in terms of getting addicted to it. Like Dragon Quest is my favorite console series, basically for myself. But Ultima was a really, really good series. The Kingdom of Britannia and Sosaria, there we go, it has enjoyed many years of peace, but now an evil force known as Exodus threatens to ancient peace. Only you and your fearless band of adventurers can save the kingdom. So they had kind of like Dungeons and Dragons style character development and things of that nature. So you have like a cleric, fighter, paladin, barbarian, illusionist, druid, thief, wizard. You'd also have the bard. Then you'd have a ranger and thief and stuff like that. So it was just or alchemist, I'm sorry. So this was really, like, the graphics aren't much to look at, obviously, but this was just a really, the combat system was really interesting because you'd basically, like, have an overhead view, much like an Exile, and, you know, walk up and attack and things of that nature, and then you'd pick up the spoils and everything. And then when you went into dungeons, they'd be, like, first-person views a lot and stuff like that. So it's really, for its time, for, like, a late 80s game, I tell you, this is just really amazing for Nintendo. Really, you know, an in-depth game for Nintendo just like this. Then you got Legacy of the Wizard, which followed a kind of similar Final Fantasy graphic style. So Japan obviously kind of got onto that, and then Final Fantasy was born, and that kind of like kicked a lot of people into the magic of what they see today. Unfortunately, you know, after 6, things kind of got sketchy, but that's my personal opinion.
It's sketchy.
So we go to Counselor's Corner. How do you earn stars for Metal Gear? Where's Card 7? How do I get the rocket launcher and compass? You know, I tell you, this game was a very ambitious game, but it was so buggy. You know, the first Metal Gear, if it were more stable, it would have been a much better game than it was perceived at. But hey, it started the Metal Gear for a Solid franchise, so we have to give it props for that. Now, they finally, in this issue, are now introducing agent numbers at long last. And NES specialists have all the answers. So now they're basically showing profiles. And what they eventually would do is they'll do things like, you know, so we'll do Agent 510, Jody Sage, became game counselor February 14th of 1988, Valentine's Day, bummer. Had to drop a Venkman line from Ghostbusters 2. Hobbies, video games, water skiing, highest game score, Super Mario Brothers, 9,999,950 points. Favorite NES game, Gauntlet. That's cool. Agent 139 became game counselor September 12th, 1988. So 2 days after a friend's birthday and then 3 days before my parents' anniversary. Hobbies, video games, weightlifting, personal growth. I'm sorry, it's cool if you do that. This game's named Steve Pennington, but I mean, I kind of personal growth as a hobby. That's where I kind of laugh.
That's kind of weird.
That's kind of gay, but
yes, I know.
Highest game score, Athena, 9,999,995. Dang. And favorite NES game, Double Dragon. Nice.
Yeah, right?
And so Metal Gear, how do I get through the maze zones? Rambo, how do I destroy the flying fortress, which is basically just a helicopter? Double Dragon, how do I defeat Willy? How can I use more advanced fighting techniques? So it's pretty cool how they'll show like your heart progression for like the uppercut, jump kick, hair pull, pin attack, elbow punch, and the spin cyclone kick is the best. I mean, that's just an awesome move. Agent 684, Blaine Phelps, and he's all showing those 80s sunglasses there, wearing the white shirt and the red crazy tie. Became game counselor February 1st of 88. Hobbies, golf, computers, writing fiction, fantasy stories. There you go.
Golf, it's so boring.
highest game score. Bases loaded, 136-0. Dang.
Wow.
Favorite NES game, Side Pocket. So he's a sporty guy. I like that.
Yeah.
Agent 101, Sharon Kersey, let's see, became game counselor October 5th, 1987. Horseback riding, jet skiing, pinball. All right, there you go. Highest game score, Solomon's Key. I'm sorry you had to go through that game. 1,918,550. Favorite NES game, Metroid. All right. Agent number 28, Jack McClane. Oh, it's not John McClane, darn.
Oh, darn.
But it's spelled differently anyway. October 1st, 1987. Hobbies are scuba diving, skydiving, and bodybuilding. There you go. Yeah. Nice. Highest game score, Choo Choo Land, 999,950. Favorite NES game, Choo Choo Land. Okay.
Sounds like this guy's an adrenaline junkie.
No kidding. Agent number 260, Garen Galloway. And he became a counselor March of 1998. No date there, no numerical date. Hobbies, computers, sports, and role-playing games. There you go. And I love how he's holding up a stack of games on his shoulder. That's cool. Highest game score, Zelda finished first and second quests without dying. All right. Wow. That's good. That's tough. Favorite NES game, Castlevania 2. Okay.
Nice.
Not bad at all. Gauntlet. How do I get the clues in the clue room? So that takes you like secret treasure. How do I continue? And I'll show you passwords. That's kind of a dumb question, but whatever.
Yeah.
Let's see. Rob Langang, and look at that haircut. Holy shit, that is an 80s hairband haircut right there. Became game counselor October 27th, 1987. Hobbies, music, video games, and sports. Boy, he doesn't look like a sporty guy, but hey, there you go.
Yeah.
Highest game score, Wizards and Warriors, 965,000, 500,000. That's his favorite game, and that's a good game, too. Let's see, and then Jeff Mahaffey, yeah, this is what a nerd looked like in the 80s and 90s. The combed hair to the side, glasses, the short mustache, and the clean cut look. That is a game nerd right there. That is a game nerd. Or computer nerd even. August 1st, 1987. Hobbies, video games, sleep, tennis. Highest game score, Zanuck, 12 million. Favorite NES game, Adventure of Link. Okay.
I'd want to sleep a lot too if I was playing tennis and being bored all the time. That's kind of boring too.
Tennis is when you play like tennis and soccer, I can't watch because it's boring. Same with baseball. Playing it's a little bit of a different story, but it's still not my cup of tea.
It's very hard if you can't see.
That too, of course. Gradius, win big with rapid fire. Yeah, rapid fire and Gradius would really help you out. Start game with full options. And there's the Konami code. I love it. Up, down, left, right, VA. Good old Konami.
So long.
That's the best video game code because every Konami game would have it. Like Contra, you'd get like 30 lives, for example. So it's just like, all right, that's a name and that's a legend in its own right there. So more Gradius tips. That's really cool. Yeah, Gradius is such a great game. Side-scrolling shooter game. Gotta love those. And then there's Seacross, Zanuck, which is just like an overhead shooting game there. Ikari Warriors 2 Victory Road. Yeah, fuck you.
Oh yeah, didn't AVGN talk about that?
The first one, yeah. Super Mario, and then there's Super Mario Brothers. So they basically show off the negative world code right there. The negative world, yeah. So there it is. That's the first. This is the first time the world had heard of the negative levels. Of course, you know about worlds 1-1 through 8-4 in Super Mario Brothers, but did you know there was a world -1 as well? In an endless water world from which no one has ever escaped, and it's true. It's a water world that goes over and over and over. So it's no benefit to you. But it's just so much fun.
How do you get out?
You don't. Yeah.
Oh dear.
And it works with just about every copy of Super Mario Brothers that I've seen, basically. We tried it on the Wii and it worked on that. Huh. And then there's Deadly Towers, which is another shitty game. Oh. And yeah, I do recall I think that was the fan episode of AVGN where basically he said, you give me the dialogue and I'll say it. So he said like every dirty word that every fan pretty much did. So I was like, that's pretty cool.
That's funny.
But yeah, there you go. That's how you basically do the negative world. So if you've ever wanted to try it or you've never seen it, there's the old pictures of it.
But be prepared to never come out. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
You got lost in there.
And again,
Bye-bye.
it's just a cool little thing to do. So.
Yeah.
So NES Advantage. This is basically a joypad gamepad that has turbo buttons on it that have different frequency settings. It was probably one of the coolest controllers that they came up with. My brother and I actually got zipper controllers, which were basically like rapid fire controllers. So they would have like the A and B buttons, and then there would be these like 3 switches on the top. So like the lowest level would just be your standard. The mid level would be just kind of like semi-automatic, and then like it's all treated like a gun. And then like the final one would be like full automatic. So basically it'd be like rapid jumping, rapid firing, things of that nature. You just hold on to the button rather than pushing it over and over. Now, if you do the multi-jump Game Genie code in Super Mario 3, for example, that's basically what it would do is if you would do the rapid one, you'd be hearing like this, like Mario jumping perpetually. Now, if you did it singularly, you could jump in the air. So like you would jump and then you could keep jumping over and over. But if you do the rapid, you could just fly through levels and just have a blast. I always loved, my brother and I would always love beating games and then like cheating in them afterwards. And that was the fun of it, basically.
Yeah, let's see what weird shit we can do now.
Get things early, try crazy ass shit early, stuff like that, yeah. So yeah, basically they show like some pictures of Nestor playing with it. He got smoked. It shows him getting smoked by the turbo. There's some really ugly people there. I think. What the hell is this? Is this like a good guy doll here? It looks like a fucking Chucky good guy doll. Oh my god!
Yikes.
And then this looks like a spaghetti-haired Pinocchio. Like that's like Rapunzel needs a facelift or something. And they got this like geeky spaghetti-haired comb-parted kid with glasses and a bow tie. And then they have like this black. I guess that's a black chick that kind of has the Jerry curl there. Holy shit! So this is the anticipation. So here's the NES Max, which was very innovative because it would do it had what was called a cycloid control. So the gamepad was this big button that would rotate like 360 degrees. The problem is that not many games really took advantage, minus a few, but like Crystalis, for example, which will come out later, took advantage of basically took advantage of these like the full 8-direction control, or like mode 7 controls they call it. The Super Nintendo had more of that going on, and they had to, obviously, for games like Zelda, for Link to the Past and things of that nature, or like F-Zero and stuff like that. But that was a pretty nifty controller too, because it also kind of used that boomerang-shaped grip that you would see. Like it kind of looks like the evolution of like the first evolution of an Xbox controller. So that was pretty cool there. So they had slow-mo functions on the Advantage too. So they had like speed and like like turbo and then slow-mo. So it was very, like I said, Nintendo was so innovative with their game controllers. Some of them were crazy, but I mean this is where you kind of see the roots of what they came up today with like the Wii and the Switch. It's just so cool to see it. So like the Nintendo, like the Xbox and PlayStation is basically where you play like real man games and stuff like that, but the Nintendo is where you play the classics and you see the innovation, and this is where it all started basically. And yeah, there's just these, oh god, these people just make me sick. Whoever drew this, whoever drew these crazy like spaghetti and there it is, like the hairs over the eyes. Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Yeah,
that's what I just see with that there. I'm sorry.
And
this is the anticipation game. That's what it is. It's basically based off that TV show, but it's kind of like a Pictionary sort of game. So. But God, oh yeah, look at him. He looks like he looks like a freaking psychotic mad scientist. It's like, I'm gonna win the game,
Wow. That's creepy.
And this question mark looks like an extension of Chucky's hair here, practically. I'm just gonna call him Chucky because that's what he looks like. And then here's like Miss Frizzle from like Magic School Bus with the spaghetti hair. And then I don't know what to. I guess I call her like Fem Michael Jackson. I don't know.
Who knows?
But jeez. God, they're all sad here. We didn't win. Oh.
Well, you lost the pretty contest. Anyway.
Yeah, whoever drew this should be ashamed of themselves. But anyway. So now Blades of Steel. Now you got like the Pinocchio noses here. So it's this art I don't mind. It's still goofy, but like I at least they have like the cool bodies here. And I love how they got like the hockey sticks going at each other. Blades of Steel was a really cool hockey game. This was like they had like 8 teams in it, but I'll tell you, this was for a Nintendo game. I mean, look at this. It's like a 3D isometric view of the hockey rink facing from the side. I mean, I tell you, this was a really innovative hockey game for the Nintendo. And even putting in like Toronto, Edmonton, Vancouver, and then like Minnesota, Los Angeles, Montreal, Chicago, New York, and stuff. Yeah. Just putting in real hockey teams too. I tell you, it's they couldn't fit all of it because it was a console game, obviously. But I tell you, back then, this was just a way to do it. Cobra Command was basically a helicopter game, a side-scrolling helicopter game where you'd be rescuing people and finding secret bases. It was alright. Wasn't really too into it and stuff, but very innovative for its time. Because a lot of times when you were playing like vehicle games and stuff, you just felt like it was the coolest thing because you wouldn't see them often. And then Racket.
Cobra Command is going to be a G.I. Joe game.
Yeah. Well, they did have a G.I. Joe game, and the first one wasn't that bad. The first one was actually pretty fun.
Cobra!
Cobra!
Yeah.
Racket Attack, so that's tennis, so that's enough. That's enough said there. And then they've got introducing the female players. Oh boy!
No.
So, no! Hey, tennis is unison. sex. So.
I know, I'm kidding.
Okay. Well, because this is one of those points where it's like, come on. Come on, Pikachu. You're a woman anyway, but anyway. Bubble Bobble from Tato. So this is the dinosaur puzzle bubble blowing game. It was fun and challenging. There's also a recording on an old friend of mine's channel of us playing, and we fucked up pretty bad, but we had a blast. From Tato. Now, Tato was pretty cool because they actually made the Lufia series of RPGs later. And I don't recall if there was a Nintendo Power issue that worked with Lufia, but hopefully there is, because that good story about that game when we get to it there, when we get to the Super Nintendo era. Paperboy, so, they're now bringing the arcade classic over to the Nintendo. Very innovative and ambitious game, but we'll just leave it at that.
Watch AVGN's review if you want to see more about it.
Ghostbusters! Ghostbusters! Yeah, congratulations, and you can't even spell it right. This game sucks. Here's a business opportunity with a lot of spirit. Make that spirits. Now you can own your own Ghostbusters franchise and divert a disaster of ghoulish proportions. The bank will back you at $10,000, which you purchase a nominal paraphernalia. Earn a profitable living and upgrade your equipment by capturing and containing all sorts of eerie entities. Show these slimers how we do it downtown. Your greatest challenge, of course, will be negotiating the 22-story Zool building and defeating Gozer with the giant before the giant Marshall Man can get you. But hey, you shouldn't be afraid of no ghosts. God.
Actually, the greatest challenge is trying to play this game without getting really annoyed.
Oh God, this game was awful.
Oh, and also the greatest challenge was creators. How do you spell this? Please look it up again.
God, this game was just so terrible.
Yeah.
What do you expect from LGN,
LGN, yeah.
So, or I'm sorry, Activision. Well, Activision fucked up. But anyway, Tecmo. Tecmo Baseball. Now, this is where things get good. Tecmo Baseball, I never played it, but I've heard it's pretty good there. I was an RBI baseball guy myself. Challenge Pebble Beach, that's just a golf game there. Yeah. Dr. Chaos. Dr. Chaos is basically a side-scrolling adventure game. It was alright. I mean, I never got into stuff like that.
It sounds funny.
Yeah. One of those horror games. Tecmo Bowl. So yeah, now Tecmo Bowl is a classic. I love Tecmo Super Bowl more because they basically would name the the NFL players and things like that. But Tecmo Bowl, even in Tecmo Super Bowl, it's all about throwing 100-yard touchdown passes, baby. And I always loved the kicking in this game because you didn't actually have to angle it like in Tecmo Super Bowl, where you'd have to pick the direction. In Tecmo Bowl, you just basically had to do the kick power, and then it would just go through the uprights. And you could kick some pretty far field goals. I think you could do like 50, 55 yards and stuff, so which is pretty much some kickers could do it. So there you go. Let's see, there's Platoon, which is based off the 80s Vietnam game, so they're showing some pictures from the movie there. Milan's Secret Castle, and this was another AVGN game. And I mean, it's not bad, but it's not good. And I'm glad I never played it because there was a lot of. He's right. Getting through this game without a strategy guide, you wonder how the hell you're going to do it. Basically.
Oh God, one of those.
NFL football, never played. Touchdown Fever, never played. John Elway's quarterback.
Uh-oh.
Oh God, that was the worst football game on the Nintendo. Overhead view, so dinky. The football kind of looked like a mini, it kind of looked like a pebble that you would pee at. Like it looked like how should I put this? Like a kidney stone you would pee out, basically. Oh God, it was terrible. This game is just. My brother rented it, and we just wanted to smash it to pieces.
But is it as bad as the E.T. game?
And then there's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Oh,
and
no,
we won't talk about that.
No.
Then you got WrestleMania. So you've got the side-scrolling WrestleMania games. So you got like Hulk Hogan, who looks really retarded.
Who's probably played this.
Hogan looks awesome here, even though he looks a little drunk and deranged there. But here he's just like, he looks like a picture perfect pedophile there. Then you got Bam
That's
Bam
disturbing.
Bigelow, who looks okay. Then you got like Honky Tonk Man, and he looks so high there. He's like, then you got Andre the Giant. Oh man, we'll get to that in a moment.
Oh no.
Macho Man Randy Savage, he looks pimp out of all of them. Oh yeah. And then Ted DiBiase, who's the $1 Million Man, and and we of course know who his protege is. Good old Lowly Virgil.
Yeah.
So let me tell you a story that Lowly Virgil basically told somebody. So Lowly Virgil apparently met these two guys who were going to WrestleMania, and they actually spent the time in a hotel together. And when they were on the plane, Virgil told them like a whole lot of stories. So let me kind of give you the gist. If you've never heard of Lonely Virgil, he was a black dude that hung out with the $1 Million Man, and he really wasn't a very popular wrestler. When they would go to events and stuff, he's basically the one with the setup stand that would basically be there, and nobody would be around his bench. So that's why we call him Lonely Virgil, or around his setup. So he would con people into money, where basically he's like, hey, you want an autograph? He's like, here, you get a picture. Oh, by the way, now you owe me like $30. So he was one of those con artists, that would do that there. So Virgil told a story about Andre the Giant that basically he got a lot of pussy. And I'm going to be vulgar here just to let you know. So he got a lot of pussy, basically. He basically mentioned to these guys that he would stack 3 or 4 girls on top of each other and use his tongue and like basically have like a pussy sandwich. He also mentioned that his fingers were so big that he basically would use 4 of his fingers to stick in these girls he would stack, and basically he called them his cock fingers. And he literally told these guys this entire story on the fucking airplane.
Yeah.
And he would even do the cunnilingus moves. Like, he actually got on his knees and would be like sitting in front of his chair like, and it's like, oh my god. Virgil was very lonely, so I'll never forget that story as long as I live. It was just the greatest story. I mean, Andre the Giant with his Obey logo, I mean, that's one thing, but my god, that's just unbelievable. So basically, we got the power pad. So they're showing the power pad for the world-class track and meet game and stuff like that. California games, we talked about that there. And the California World with Captain N. You got Skate or Die, which also had a Ski or Die spin-off, and a sequel, Skate or Die 2.
That sounds really pleasant.
Well, skateboarding was very popular in the 80s and 90s, so, I mean, it doesn't have as much pizzazz as it does, or as it did back then, but you still have some skaters around. Then you got Operation Wolf, which is a rail shooter, which is pretty cool there.
Wow.
Spy versus Spy, which is basically, white spy going after black spy, and that's just their attire, not their skin color. So, and that was a very cool Mad TV skit where basically you'd see the white spy or the black spy trying to kill the white spy. So it was always, and vice versa. So it was really funny. NES Planner. And Nestor's like, hey, look at what's coming soon to video or to stores near you. Also get an insider's look at future releases. So November we got Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, Anticipation, Bubble Bobble, and Rampage and Super Team games. December we got Platoon, Xenophobe, Paperboy, WrestleMania, Track and Field 2, Friday the 13th, Skate or Die, Sesame Street 1, 2, 3, Operation Wolf, Tecmo Baseball, Pebble Beach, Dr. Chaos, Zelda 2, Adventure of Link, very limited quantities. So they got to put emphasis on that there. Zelda 2 didn't really start coming out till like early January in like the mass quantities there. Marble Madness coming out there, RoboCop, California games, and then future releases. You got your Tecmo Bowl, you got Star Trek, which sadly was a bust. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Alright, so there you go there. So Captain Nintendo, the latest issue of the origin of Captain Nintendo, the birth of the Mother Brain, and the beginning of the Promise. So here they basically this is how Captain N came to be. So you could, if you read that story there and everything, it's kind of like this, it's just this little story about how he got sucked in and everything like that. So you can pause and read and everything like that. So originally Captain N started off as a mini story, much like Johnny Mnemonic actually started off as a sci-fi short story, and then eventually evolved into a movie that I'll tell you, it's one of the best. It's one of the best camp sci-fi movies out there, and it has a lot of Shadowrun elements. So I'll say that. But Yeah, there you go. So that's basically how Captain N came about. So here's the holiday giveaway that they have with these two people that have Pinocchio noses here and freckles. Basically, you can win a trip to 4 to Disneyland from Nintendo. So that's the grand prize. So that's pretty pimp there. Howard's all dressed up in a Santa outfit, but he has the beard off. And then you can also get like 50 grand prize winners can get Blaster Master, Xenophobe, Spy Hunter, Freedom Force, and Platoon. I'll take Blaster Master out of all those. Spy Hunter is a second, but yeah. Then you also have like Cobra Command, Super Mario Brothers 2, NES Advantage, Zelda 2. I'll definitely take that. NES Max controllers, Super controllers from Bandai, which of course makes Dragon Ball Z. So there you go. So yeah, it's a pretty cool little giveaway. I always love this magazine for doing that. So what you would do is you basically would fill out these sheets here and then list the titles that you have, and then it's like for all of the game listed review, which two did you enjoy the most? So I'd pick Blaster Master and Ultima out of those two there, basically. So you had Track and Field 2, Anticipation, or the ones you reviewed, so obviously you know that. So basically you had those. So you fill those out and then send it in to that address up in Redmond, Washington. So there you go. So NES Journal, you got these amazing grades. So they're talking about an amusement park called Woo's, which is a 12-acre amusement park located in California, and it was the main attraction opportunity basically for basically would navigate like a Woo's maze for like 2 hours with objectives and stuff like that. So kind of innovative for them to do something like that on a grand scale. But I'm sure it probably didn't last too long, unfortunately. So then, so then we see that here, Dr. Powers 10 telling questions. So this is a scan where somebody obviously was doing little like tallies and everything like that, so you could actually see that. So then you see, play ball, baseball, little corner here. So then they got the celebrity profile. So they're showing Jay Leno here, and tonight, and this is what Jay Leno looked like when he was younger before his hair went gray. Jay Leno, and they draw him with his iconic chin that sticks out there. Jay Leno was funny. I liked one of my favorite skits of his when he went around and kind of did a sort of "Are you smarter than a fifth grader?" sort of thing. But he would go around and kind of ask people like, who was the president before? Who was the president before? Bill Clinton, and then like one chick was like, I don't know, Roosevelt. That's like,
what? Come on, really?
So Jay Leno takes his gameplay seriously. We first learned of his interest in the NES when he called asking for help on level 7 of The Legend of Zelda. This brought the game counters a lot of smiles. They loved getting calls from celebrities, and yes, Jay did solve Zelda both quests, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
He got his first Nintendo from his manager to help him pass the time before and after a show. There's not much to do in many small towns at 11:30 p.m. after that second show, says Jay. So I bring a Nintendo game with me on the road and play till 3 or 4 in the morning and then crash out. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So it's really awesome. It's just really awesome how they do the celebrity profile, because you always wondered, these classic celebrities and things, you always wondered that they played the Nintendo. Now, I'll tell you this, I actually spoke with Corey Minor, who was a defensive back for Notre Dame in the late 90s, and we actually had a talk last weekend and talked about GoldenEye on the 64, and we talked about the guns we love to use and everything. It was just so much fun to do that. Yeah. So it's just really, really cool to, talk about stuff like that and have a lot of, fun doing things of that nature there. So let me just keep prattling along here. I'm also checking food and stuff, because we're having a lot of we're having food delivered to us right now and stuff. So yesterday I actually got to talk to Jarius Jackson, which I thought was pretty cool there. So he was the quarterback during that time. He's now a Canadian offensive coordinator for the Canadian Football League now. So all right, food's on the way. We got Chinese today. Oh yeah. Invent the ultimate video game. So this was another contest that they had, and they were like, how to invent and win. So basically they had this really nifty contest that was going on here. Let me see if I can zoom in a little more so I can read this. There we go. Okay. Nintendo's man who plays games for a living, imagine inventing your own video game. What kind of invention could you come up and dream with and make your friends drool for a chance to get their hands on? Would it be a trip to land of dinosaurs or a voyage to an alien planet, or you design something totally different? Your idea could involve creating a new way to play video games. It could mean inventing a new device to book into your game system that shoots your playing skills to hyperspace. Now, I'll let you know that later on they actually had, in the Mega Man 5 issue, which I really can't wait to get to, they had a robot design contest, and a few of them actually made it into the final and into some of the future games. So that was pretty cool that they actually took consideration for that there. So they will have like some judges with top 10 ideas, and then it'll be in your guardian will come with you, parent or guardian will come with you to Washington D.C. So it's like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's not during the summer, because D.C. during the summer, D.C. was built on a swamp and it shows. I'll tell you that. So really, it's just really cool. This is the third issue of Nintendo Power, and they've got that type of contest out. That's just great. So then we go out to the mailbox. We got Trick or Treat. Dear Nintendo, in the past I've found some very interesting tricks, not in a game, but tricks to get to let your parents or get your parents into letting you play the NES more often. You might say that you've just started a typing unit to get your fingers nimble, and you have to push some buttons. Then point out the NES controller has buttons and a pad, or you might just say that playing the NES helps hand-eye coordination, which it does. These are just a few of the main tricks that I've used to get to play my NES. So here we go. No need to resort to trickery, Keenan. Experts have confirmed that playing the NES does, in fact, help improve hand-eye coordination, and it builds self-esteem. Of course, moderation in everything, including playing the NES, is very important, and your parents do know best. So yeah, that's the thing. Typically, I mean, like, my brother and I, we were addicted. We were addicted to video games. Like, we would just be, like, rushing through our homework just to get to video games. Just the great times of being a kid and everything.
Yeah.
Now, eventually, you hope to grow out of it and everything of that nature. Some people do and some people don't. I almost got to that point to where I didn't grow out of the irresponsibility that video games can bring, but I eventually got let's just say nothing bad happened, but I got the wake-up call I needed, and I pretty much flourished after that, so... And no, my parents didn't do anything harsh to me, but well, I take that back. It's a long story that happened in Death Valley, but let's just say that afterwards I got a wake up call, and I actually stood up to my dad. My dad wasn't a bad person, but I never ever stood up to him or made him cry until that day. But no, I didn't beat him. It was just an exchange of words that basically blew the both of us away. So
yeah, and when I was a kid, I mostly just played Pokemon.
There you go. Yeah. Well, yeah, considering. So here we go to the NES Achievers. So you got 1942, Arachnoid, Castlevania, 523,820, Commando, Contra, there you go, Dragon Power, nice, 8 million, wow, 8,200,000 points on that, nice, or 2,000 points, nice. Duck Hunter, they got 999,900 points, nice.
You guys have no life.
Well, we don't either. Excite Bike. Yeah, Excite Bike was an interesting game, I have to say. It was another one of those side-scrolling kind of like dirt bike games there. Golf, Gotcha, Gradius, Hogan's Alley, Jaws, Legend of Cage, Karate Champ, Karate Kid, Kung Fu, yeah, Mega Man, the first Mega Man is the only game that had a point system on it. Afterwards, they got rid of it. Super Mario Brothers, there's some more people who are just dominating the points in that game there. It is Wild Gunman, Wizards and Warriors, Xanax, Solomon's Key, Stinger, Top Gun, oh boy.
Oh no.
They must have learned how to land properly. Send your high score, but they're not showing how to take a picture like they did before. So Video Spotlight, so you got those power players there. Boy, look at that late 80s haircut look there. Wow.
Uh-oh.
You got this like kid that's got, look at that old style computer. Holy cow. Oh man. I don't miss those days, I'll tell you that. And then there's that there's an Elaine haircut there with the high hair and everything, and just missing the braces. And that's kind of like how the crazy frosted hair looked back then. So there you go. So now we're at the top 30. So Legend of Zelda and Metroid are still 1 and 2. I don't know how the hell Metal Gear got to to number 3, but there you go.
Because
You
it was
know,
interesting
again,
at the
it's
time.
an innovative game, but it's so difficult to play because of how buggy it is.
Yeah.
You know, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out's number 4, no surprise
Yay.
there. Gauntlet jumped to number 5, so that's pretty cool there. And that was new in the top 30, so that's a huge jump for that.
Yeah.
Number 6 is Super Mario Brothers 2. Number 7's Bases Loaded. Number 8 is Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link. So, you know, and I'm kind of surprised that got there. It is a unique game for its time, I'll give it that. But I'm kind of surprised it jumped in there, but whatever. Number 9's Double Dragon, which, you know, that's no surprise there. Number 10 would be Kid Icarus, another good game. 11 Super Mario Brothers, 12 RC Pro-Am, which finally got out of the top 10 at long last. 13's Castlevania, but I feel that should be higher. 14's Contra, which should be higher. 15's Ice Hockey. 16's Mega Man, which should be higher. 17's Rad Racer. 18's Top Gun. 19's Town and Country Surf Design. 20's Rygar. 21's RBI Baseball. 22's Renegade. 23 Pro Wrestling. 24 Goonies 2. 25's Gradius. 20, which should be higher.
Yeah,
26 is Double Dribble. 27 Solomon's Key. 28's Golf. 29's California Games. And then 30 is Kid Nicky Radical Ninja.
Yep.
So players' picks are going for
Radical.
Double Dragon as a number 1, which is awesome. Pros picks is Legend of Zelda and Metroid, no surprise there. Dealers picks is Gauntlet, which is, you know, that's good. I mean, you know, the dealers are basically seeing like the, you know, top notch there. Coming up in the January-February issue of Nintendo Power, now we're going to get to the fun stuff.
Ooh.
Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link, and that means Ninja Gaiden's right around the corner, so that'll be cool, and our food's just arriving there. WrestleMania, you know, which you'll love the artwork, of course, for it there. RoboCop, bleh. So here we... Alright, cool. So, dear readers, there has been a great deal of excitement here at Nintendo as we've been preparing for the holidays. There are a lot of new games and products coming out, not to mention the Nintendo Power Holiday issue to hold in your hands, and there's been more activity here than usual. Speaking of Nintendo Power, we're happy that we've been able to provide you with the gift guide to this issue, as well as a Nintendo Power subscription gift certificate. While they will solve a lot of gift-giving dilemmas, we're particularly excited about our Invent the Ultimate Video Game contest. The idea was this contest was for fans that think it's terrific. Be sure to enter. As the holidays approach, we reflect on special times with our loved ones. We at Nintendo would like to suggest that you look through your current game library and make it a point to spend some quality time with the younger brother or sister, parent, or grandparent. Yeah, Pikachu and I have been spending quality time. Friend, playing a game that you think you'd enjoy, give yourself truly the best gift of all. So spend and save and have a pleasant holiday. Create some memories. So there you go. So gift of power there. So that was a pretty quick issue there. So really fun to read through. But yeah, next issue we're finally going to see the awesome Zelda 2 cover. So I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah. So Pikachu is going to be leaving on Tuesday, and that's going to be a summer thing. So more than likely, what will happen is Boku and Ardith and I will probably do some reviews on some more Nintendo Power. I'm also looking to finally finish at the very long last Secret of Mana up the road. So be on the lookout for that there, and we'll eventually continue some other playthroughs. We're going to have to find something new to play together again. And Pikachu, of course, will be beating up people on the Mortal Kombat tree. Yes. But we'll probably have to wait a little later in the summer for that there. Yeah. But anyway, it's dinner time, and thanks for joining us. This is Gray Fox 37.
And Pikachu 23.
And you guys have a good one.